No, I ain't got bothered if they have, they have. And we are back again to break some more chains. I had a bit of a panic then because it told me I was going live and the intro took about 3 seconds to load up and I thought it was all going to go wrong. Sorry about the delay. We had a few technical hitches in the background, but we are here now. And as you can see, I'm joined once again by Katherine Olson. We're going to continue on from last week's conversations. There is going to be some bits for life after you've left Scientology, but we will also be talking a bit about her life in Scientology and in the Sea Org. We are live both on Breaking the Chains and on Katherine's channel, so please show both channels some love. Both me and Katherine could do with people showing both channels some love. So this is a dual stream and it's all going to be fun.
Yeah, we like people.
Oh, absolutely, and hopefully it'll be a light-hearted look at things that go on within Scientology and beyond, because as many of you are aware who have known me for a while, one of the goals of this channel is to get bigger, to bring awareness to not just Scientology but other cults as well, and we are doing everything in support of the Aftermath Foundation. The link is in the description. We have got a merch as well, so we are raising funds for the Aftermath Foundation because charities like that are very, very much needed by people who leave Scientology and other religions as well. I hope there are organizations that help other religions as well. So without further ado, last week I think we briefly touched on the photography, and we saw some of your lovely photographs at the end. If people want to go and purchase Katherine's photographs, she does have a link on her channel for you to be able to go to that shop. I keep forgetting to get it and put it in the description, but I will get it afterwards.
Oh yeah, I'm so bad. I'll give it to you after this.
Yeah, I'm bad as well because I didn't ask you for it, so it's my fault as well.
Yeah, I need to promote myself a little bit more.
Yeah, let's get that out there. It's wonderful photography.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to start with. I do want to go back. I want to go back to when you went from being public Scientology to joining the Sea Org.
Well, I went from it was a little bit more of a transition because I joined staff before I joined the Sea Org.
Okay.
So
a
little bit of a bridge there.
When you went from that moment from staff to Sea Org, because we did talk about this briefly before we started, but everybody says, yeah, I was recruited in and blah, blah, blah. And then they gave me this billion-year contract and I just signed it. What goes through somebody's mind when this billion-year contract is put in front of them? Because for me, and obviously I've never been in Scientology, if somebody put a billion-year contract in front of me, I'd look at them and say, I'm going to be dead by the time I'm probably 75, 80. What's the point of signing a billion-year contract?
Well, the first part of that is the fact that Scientologists believe that you live lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, as I guess the closest comparison is reincarnation. Like you go and get another body and you have a new identity and you keep living. And so in that other body and new identity, you go and you join up again. Like, I'm here to complete my billion-year continue on my billion-year contract. But the funny thing is that like it's not. I don't feel like it was taken seriously at all, as far as like, oh, I was like people saying that they were in the Sea Org in their previous life or whatever. It's not. I don't feel like it's taken seriously. So, um, so you have that aspect of it, and then I mean, for me, for many people, um, they're persuaded over like years or months or whatever, and talked to like many times about joining and pressured to join and sign up, sign your contract, and arrive to the Sea Org and sign contract, sign contract, sign contract. And with me, um, I somebody had been talking to me for like over like a year or so, and but not really trying to sign me up. And then somebody else came on a project to the org where I was, which was in Portland, and it was like, oh, it was like, oh, it's somebody from in management. You know what I mean? Like it's like, wow, and then they're in these uniforms and it looks all official and it's kind of, it's kind of cool and mysterious. And you're like, wow, who are these people? And of course, they send out their most persuasive, charismatic people on these kind of recruitment projects. Um, and as recruiters, and they have their like best sales type people, who are really really good people,
Yep.
good at persuading people, but also themselves like devoted members. And they basically, I mean, for everybody it was different, but I saw this guy. I took one look at this guy, and I'm like, he's gonna sign me up for the Sea Org. He's gonna sign me up. I already know he's gonna sign me up. And so he did a recruitment event where he was like speaking about different world things and what was happening in the world. And Scientology is huge on conspiracies and deep state type stuff, and just like this is what's really going on in the world. And and psychiatry being behind it all and trying to take down Scientology, and it's all like very like shadowy, like
Mhm.
whoa, this is really what we're fighting in against type thing. And um if you're 17 years old and yeah, you're already and you're already in Scientology and already a Scientologist, already a staff member, which I was,
Mhm.
it was pretty easy to persuade me. I mean, like I said, I took one look at this guy and I was like, he's gonna recruit me. Okay, I better just convince myself to do it. And that's essentially what I did. I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna join, and that's what I'm thinking to myself. And then by the time he talked to me, um, he talked for a while, and I was like, okay. And he's like, we really need people like you to take responsibility and join the team and blah blah blah. And and he says, what we want you to do is sign your contract. And I was like, okay. So that's how I signed up. I was very easy, unfortunately, for me to do it, because it was like, I think the biggest thing was, I mean, I guess now I call it love bombing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, you're just
Oh,
the
absolutely.
you're just the greatest person. Everybody like treats you, when you're first a staff member, you're first in Scientology or whatever, you're a new Scientologist, um, everybody treats you really well and makes you feel very accepted, and they're all interested in you, and they want you to be around, and they want you to hang around. They want you to join staff or join the Sea Org or whatever, and they'll, take the time to talk to you. And sometimes just like, having a conversation with somebody like that can be like really really impinges on you, and you're like, wow, this is cool. So this cool person wants me to join, and it's going to be so neat, and everything, and you just feel like it's like this amazing thing. At least that's what I felt like at the time.
Yeah, and I can understand that because what you've just described about various different people trying to talk to you about joining. I mean, the closest I can really remember with that was many moons ago. I was still married. Myself and my ex-wife had been stopped by a couple of Mormons on the street, and we got talking to them, and we decided, okay, yeah, we'll invite them round. It'll keep them tied up. At least they're not annoying somebody else. And for weeks, these two guys would come round talking to us about the Book of Mormon, and they could see they weren't getting anywhere. And then this one week, two women turned up instead, and they tried for a few weeks. And in the end, one of the bigwigs from the local Mormon church ended up coming round. He tried for 3 weeks, realized he wasn't going to get anywhere because we always had an answer for him. Yeah. And then we ended up being blacklisted. But it was the same type of principle of, right, if the first lot don't work, we'll try the next lot, and then we'll try the bigwig. If that don't work, we've got no chance. So it seems to run throughout these different cults of how the same kind of tactic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and they and in Scientology they really push the thing on you of like, you know, you need to take responsibility for the planet. You need to take responsibility for helping to clear the planet, which means, you know, get everyone up the bridge and through these.
I mean, for me, I suppose
everything. So
the Christian tactic and the Mormon tactic and the Jehovah's Witness tactic, they all seem to be about the same. If you don't follow us and don't do what we're telling you is correct, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Same principle, just different wording.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned Mormons, because when after I was newly out of Scientology, I was working at UPS for a little while, and these young Mormon guys came in, and they just reminded me so much of Sea Org members. I was like, oh, this feels really weird. Like, really, like they're very clean cut. You know, they're very like interested in people and talking to you, and they're a little bit, you know, they're a little bit charismatic, and they're just like really like gung-ho people, and you're just like, okay, you remind me of somebody.
Absolutely. As I've got deeper down the Scientology rabbit hole, as it were, and I look back at those times where I used to talk to the Jehovah's Witnesses and to the Mormons, you can see the similarities. It's just really weird.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with talking to people and being friendly, and you know what I mean, but when you have this underlying agenda of, you know, I want you to read this book, or, you know, I want you to buy this book in Scientology, because they don't give their books away.
I have been looking for it, but I wonder if there's this is how to run a cult handbook somewhere that they all the people like L. Ron Hubbard and Joseph Smith and etc. are all had a copy of,
right?
Because they all seem to run.
Yeah, because they all follow the same pattern. It's like this charismatic leadership, and these people that are like totally devoted to the cause, or whatever. And it seems like this thing that you want to get involved with, because it's like they're really it seems like they're really trying to accomplish something, right? But at the end of the day,
there's always an end goal, and if you don't do what we want you to do, you're not going to achieve the end goal.
Yeah,
and you sit there,
if you don't do it
when you talk to various different religions, and they're all saying the same thing, you sat there going, so which one's the end goal then?
Right. Yeah. Which one is the right one? And some will say like, well, there's all paths to God, or whatever, paths to the truth, or however they want to put it. But then it's like, well, why do you have to follow this laid out, pre-programmed thing in order to reach truth, or to find God, or whatever? Why don't you just, I don't know, find your own way?
Absolutely, especially in Christianity, which is my background, where you're taught that God is omnipresent. Okay, so if God is omnipresent, why do I have to go to this stuffy building every week?
Right. Exactly.
He's
right.
here with me in my
Talk to
front
him
room.
from home.
We can have the service here and now. I don't have to go over there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And
You see,
and so much of it comes down to all of it just comes down to control
Mhm.
and money, especially
Oh,
if you have
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, the richest organizations in the world are all connected to religion, whether it be Scientology, whether it be Catholicism,
Yeah, look at the
whether it be
Vatican. Look at how
Mormon.
rich the Pope lives. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
what does that have to do with religion? Like, what does that have to do with God? And I'm like,
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
yeah, yeah,
Mormons are extremely rich as well. If you
yeah.
look at their filings, and every religion, it boils down to money. So, in my opinion, for every religion, God is the dollar.
Right. Yeah, and if they're using it's I guess if they were using that money to, help the needy
Hmm.
or just help people that are less fortunate or whatever, and it's not going towards, the rulers of the religion,
Hmm.
it wouldn't be so disturbing, but
I mean, my favourite line, because 20 odd years ago, I was actually training to be a vicar. So my favourite line to Christians, I don't know if it worked with Scientologists, but it certainly works with Christians. They shut up at this point. When they start talking about how they need the money to do this, that, and the other, I just quote the parable of the rich man and say, well, it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven.
right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a direct quote, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one of Jesus's parables.
Yeah.
Um, and that does shut some Christians up who talk about tithing and stuff like that. But I don't know whether it would work with Scientology, because completely different ball game with Scientology.
Yeah, yeah, with Scientology, you're paying for all the services as you go along. So, it's not like you just go and attend church and that's it and you give part of your income. It's like, no, you pay for each and every service, you pay for your auditing hours, you pay for your courses, and then they get you
Mhm.
and now you're just donating for basically nothing. Like you're
Yeah,
donating for
I mean, in
International
my opinion,
Association of Scientologist
mhm,
membership. You're donating to be a member.
in my opinion, and as an ex-Scientologist, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in my opinion, Scientology is not a religion; it's a business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can say that
I,
now, yes. I
I'm
had
just
never
laughing.
I definitely didn't look at it like that when I was in there
Oh, absolutely
and
not. And when you're in these things, you've been brought up to believe that it's a religion. You don't see that it's anything other than a religion. But then when you come out, that's when you can start to see it. So I'm not saying to any Scientologists that I'm slagging off their faith or anything like that, because they must have a belief system. But if they look at it factually, it's a business, not a religion.
yeah. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people advocating for, all religions being taxed
Hmm.
because then that would and I feel like that would really simplify things because then it's not like, you have to prove you're a religion to get this tax exempt status. Just
Hmm.
tax them all. Like,
Yeah,
just okay.
I can't argue with that. I mean, every country in the world has a deficit in regards to income. If they started taxing
Yeah.
religions, that deficit would soon disappear.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
can't,
Exactly.
can't argue with that at all.
And nobody care
I
nobody's
was just
nobody's
laughing as
attacking yeah, no one's
I was just.
attacking anyone's belief system, but
Oh,
when
no,
it
no,
comes
no, no. I'm
down to,
not
like,
saying don't have
using
a
it to
belief, but
control people.
why should religions have this tax exempt status just because they're classed as a religion? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Charities, yes, I can understand tax exempt status because that money, or most of it, does go to help causes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
I was just laughing while we were talking about the Catholics being one of the richest at this comment that Peter Anderson made on your channel. In the 1980s, a wealthy farmer purchased a satellite TV package for the priest at my Catholic church. I guess he needed it to get his messages from the Pope.
Wow.
And back in the 80s, satellite TV would have been even more expensive than it is now.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, it's expensive now, but it would have been very expensive. I remember I grew up in the 80s, and any friends who got the original satellite, they were like, oh, their parents must have loads of money.
Right. Yeah, we never had, I think we had cable TV on and off. Not anything really.
I never had satellite TV or cable when I was growing up. We had 4 channels until Channel 5 came out, and that was our lot when I was growing up. So if there wasn't anything on to watch on those 4 channels, you were stuck.
There's nothing. Yeah. So yeah, as far as the contract goes, that's what I was thinking. I mean, a lot of people take a while to decide they're gonna sign that, but for some reason it was easy for me, I guess, because I was young and impressionable, you know. So
I can kind of understand it. I mean, I know you got room and board, but $50 a week, and half the time you didn't get paid.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is that you're so caught up in, oh, you know, they're saving the planet and they're doing this for mankind, and you're so caught up in that you're like, you kind of don't care about the rest for a while, but then you do and you don't care about it. Like you have this internal conflict of caring about it and then feeling like, oh well, I shouldn't really care. I'm here to save the planet. I'm here to help mankind.
Absolutely.
And I shouldn't worry about, you know, living with
absolutely, and that's all part of that coercive control of making you believe that you're a failure if you don't do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. And like I said, Scientology relies heavily on conspiracy, all the conspiracy stuff, and they really have that down. Like they do like Olson does whole like briefings about this kind of thing, about, you know, how the deep state is doing this and that, and how psychiatry is behind it all, and it all sounds very very intriguing, and it makes people give money. It makes people give money,
absolutely.
just like Trump supporters.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm still catching up with it, but there was that court case in Switzerland where one Scientologist ended up getting jailed, who was given a load of who was giving millions to the church.
This is a recent.
This is recent. Yeah, I'm still catching up with it.
Yeah, I need to catch up with that too. I just sometimes I definitely get involved with life a lot more.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been getting involved with life a lot more, and I haven't been. I mean,
I've got to be honest. Since I stepped back from PTS and took this channel in a different direction, I haven't been keeping up with all the Scientology stuff quite as much, because I also want to go into the other stuff. But I do still have my eye on it, and I saw that one pop up the other day. Like there is one that Moonage put in my chat, in one of my feeds the other day. Do you know anything about Stephen Ridley, the piano guy?
Ridley does not ring a bell.
Because a feed came up, a video came up in her feed about Stephen Ridley and a Scientology piano scam. Apparently, I've got to watch the video.
Piano scam.
Yeah. What is he's running a lot of adverts on YouTube at the moment. I keep getting it where he wants people to sign up for his one-day piano lesson, and he's giving away a $4,000 piano or something stupid.
Wow. Oh, excuse me.
Apparently he's connected with Scientology. Apparently he's connected with Scientology in some way. Again, it's something else I got to catch up on, and I will find out. We may come back and visit that one. But I've got to catch up with that, so we will come back to that.
Well,
But
I don't play
going back,
piano, so
no, nor do I. I had piano lessons as a child because all of us had piano lessons in my family as
yeah.
a child, and I never even passed grade 1. Never mind anything else. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to your story, so though there was a little bit of pressure, you didn't really feel pressured. It kind of just sort of grew on you, and you decided that it was the
Yeah.
road you wanted to go down.
Yeah, I felt like I was gonna be helping the whole world by doing this. Like I was
Fair.
I felt like I was doing something worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I can understand that, and it's the same in all religions. I guess I don't know so much. I mean, I don't know so much about Muslims and Sikhs and things like that. They're not something I've always gone into, but certainly in all the religions that I've had involvement with, it's the same. Yet,
yeah,
if you do this, you're going to be helping mankind. Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely, it's the same line. So there's definitely a handbook.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't do it because I was under extreme pressure to do it. I did it it was I did it from within, you know. I was like, yeah, I want to do this. This is the coolest thing ever. This is what I should do. And I like to think that you know, maybe I'd been in the Sea Org in a previous lifetime or something, or my
Mhm.
last lifetime, and or you know, you just get into this like weird think and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Peter Anderson again makes a good point on this. When I was in grade school, the phrase white man's burden in history class referred to spreading Christianity to the New World and excused the atrocities. I submit that clearing the planet is similar.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty similar. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's just
Because
different wording.
Scientologists definitely want to make everyone else a Scientologist. I mean, they
Hmm.
don't they say that they don't want to like change people's religion, but really factually they do because they think the rest of it is especially Christianity is just complete hogwash as far as
Oh,
Scientologists are concerned.
absolutely. Because
And
it's
they'll deny that
again,
up and down, but yeah, they
this is why I don't. People tell me I should lay my interviews out, and I never do because we always go off into interesting tangents. Because there's that line where apparently you can be a Scientologist and any other religion, which, as far as I can tell, is complete hogwash.
yeah, which also contradicts part of their tax exemption in the US
Hmm.
because part of why they got tax exemption in the US is because they had they had to show or they had to prove that you know, if you're a Scientologist, you're just a Scientologist. You're not any other religion. But then they turn around and say it's all denominational or it's
Hmm.
non-denominational or whatever they say these days where it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, you can be a Christian and be a Scientologist, you can be Jewish and be a Scientologist and really you're a Scientologist. You're not, you know,
Yeah.
going to
Which
church
which
or
brings
then
me,
coming to
which
course."
does bring me on to an interesting question because you would have been involved probably in the Sea Org at the time. What do you make of this Scientology and Nation of Islam collaboration that's
Oh yeah,
supposed
I
to
was in the Sea Org when that came into fruition. I mean, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, "Wow, this is so neat." There's this religious leader who's like getting his all his followers to come and do Scientology services and become, you know, get trained in Dianetics, and it was considered really amazing that this was happening, right? But at the same time, um you don't really know what the Nation of Islam is. Like as a Scientologist and Sea Org member, I didn't know what that meant.
Mhm.
I didn't know, and I for sure didn't know that they were as extreme as they are. I mean, they're they're very racist if you have heard any. I don't know if
Oh,
you've heard any
absolutely.
of their sermons and stuff. It's
Oh,
like I heard that
I've
in the last couple of years, and I was like, really? Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah.
So it is
I've
really
started
odd.
doing some. I've started doing some digging into the Nation of Islam because, in my opinion, they are also a cult that have joined up and are working with another cult in terms of the Scientology link. So I have
Yeah,
started doing some digging into the Nation of Islam.
yeah, it's really. I don't understand that. I don't get it, and I don't get how they could be Scientologists and be Nation of Islam. But an interesting thing is that a lot of them didn't train on Scientology. They just trained on Dianetics because
Mhm.
Dianetics is is touted as being not Scientology. It's a separate thing. And so I think it was sort of like okay that they trained up on Dianetics or something like that. It was kind of odd.
It's touted as the modern science of mental health or something
That's
stupid, is
right.
it not?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But
Yeah.
but there's like policies and various things where you can train on Dianetics and learn about Dianetics, and you don't have to be a Scientologist. You can just study Dianetics. So maybe they got in with that angle, but then again, the guy who what's his name? Uh Tony
Tony Mo-
Muhammad,
yeah, Tony Mohammed.
he's done a lot of Scientology,
Mhm.
services. So he's all in. So it's really I don't know what the
And from what I've heard from people up in that area, if you go quite often past the Detroit org, there's an awful lot of Nation of Islam people
yeah,
hanging around
yeah, Detroit, yeah, that's right. Detroit,
up in the Detroit org.
Chicago.
Hmm.
We had one. There was a lady on staff in Columbus who was Nation of Islam. Sweetest lady. She was just a
Mm.
really nice woman. And she went to visit some family and she didn't come back. She didn't come back to staff. So I don't know what happened there.
She blew.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Fair play to her. Fair play to her. Don't blame her.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't blow from the Nation of Islam as well. From some of the stuff I've read about them,
Oh yeah.
they're a bit bonkers. But never mind. That's life. So we so you sign up for the Sea Org. I'm not going to go too deeply into what you did in Scientology because I am aware that you have got on your channel an interview that you did with apostate Alex just a couple of days ago, which covers a lot of it.
Yeah, a day in the life.
A day in the life. So we won't go too far into it. If people want more information, they can go back and they can watch that interview that you did with Alex. Otherwise, we're just covering old ground and it's just over and
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah.
But so when you first joined the Sea Org, what role were you given after you'd done the EPF?
Oh, I was put as okay, so I'm gonna say the name of the post and then I'm gonna explain it. So the name of the post was Senior Routing Forms Senior Routing Forms in Charge International. And you would say routing forms because apparently routing is like a a not nice term or something. Maybe that's Australian, but maybe not in the UK. Maybe it's Australian. Anyway, Senior Routing Forms in Charge International. So when you go into a Scientology organization, they do everything according to routing forms, and it's this piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and if you go in and you say, I want to start a course or take auditing or whatever, or get auditing, pull out this piece of paper and they'll give it to you and it has steps on it that you do, go and sign up here for your course, pay the cashier, and then you go to the course room and the supervisor signs off that you arrived, and everything you do is supposed to be done on these routing forms, right? And so I was put in charge of these for like every single org on the planet. And what I was supposed to do is I was supposed to make sure they had enough of them because they were issued, like they were written at management. and sent to the orgs, and they used to do like these carbon. It was like these carbon forms where you fill out the form, and then there's a carbon copy, and the carbon copy gets sent to management. There's supposed to be this whole computer system on tracking them so that management could see if somebody was signed up for a course 6 months ago and they never completed. And it's like, why didn't this person ever complete his course? So that's the level of micromanagement that they want to do with the orgs, really. But it didn't really work, and those didn't last for very long. Spent there were thousands of dollars spent for these forms and to ship them out, and I had to get them all sorted and shipped out and everything, and it didn't really go anywhere. And they ended up, after a while, the whole idea of carbon died with computers, of course, when computers became a lot more prevalent. And so now a lot of it's done just on the computer. I don't know exactly how they do it now, but they still follow routing forms. They don't do it the same way. But I was put in charge of that internationally, and I really had no clue what I was doing. And it was another case of, you're put on something and you're not trained. I never even completed high school. I didn't do any sort of, internship on working in some big corporation and being in charge of other little franchises all over the world or something. It was way over my head. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And it wasn't very much fun.
And you, again, going off at a tangent for a second, you bringing up the subject of computers. I'm talking to Theta Novus from Australia. She when she joined Scientology, she was brought in through signing up online and doing courses online.
Yeah.
And this is why channels like this, Apostate Alex, yours, Mark and Claire, all the other channels out there are so important, because we need to get that message out there online, because Scientology have started using it.
Yeah.
They're not dragging people in from the street anymore. It's online.
That's right. They definitely do a lot of stuff online now, and plus they have they have their channel and tons of websites and stuff, and
they've got
like
the TV channel that
people do.
They've got the TV channel that, from what I can tell from glancing at it for a few minutes, it's just a loop of the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they have a couple shows that are different, that they do like shows about all the various orgs and stuff, but it's really just like, it's almost like travel information for the city. That's it's kind of what it reads like, because they talk a lot about the area and the city, and they give like all this interesting information about wherever the org is located and stuff. And it's not really hardly anything about Scientology itself. It's just about the area. Oh, this is, come to this org because it's so cool in this place or whatever. And it's kind of weird the way they do it. And then there's another show where it's like meet a Scientologist, and they have like different people from different walks of life and professions and stuff. And they have people come on and give like, this is what I do for a little, like as a horse trainer, and she tells how she got into horse training and this whole like interesting story about her life. And then sort of towards the end or towards the middle, they're like, something will happen and be like, I was having trouble with this and this, and I did a Scientology course and it really helped me. And then at the end, after they told all about their life and everything, they'll go, my name is blah blah, and I'm a horse trainer and I'm a Scientologist. And that's the extent of it. They're not telling what Scientology is. They're just like, this is a Scientologist, a successful Scientologist, and she trains horses, and you can be successful too and be a Scientologist. It's kind of like that type of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Peter Anderson's just given me an idea for my Christmas special. I was trying to think of one that I might do just as a special over Christmas. Get a couple of you together, like you, Chris, maybe some others as well, and we can go and have a look at that. David Miscavige has started his own YouTube channel.
Is it really? Really? Like, for real?
Apparently. I will look it up. I will look it up after. I was going to look it up afterwards, but apparently he has his own YouTube channel now.
I'm gonna look this up. Okay, this is talk about a tangent. Let's look this up.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I thought this is a tangent we've got to go with.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It probably has the videos of people like talking about how great he is. I think that I feel like this has existed for a while. Okay, that's not a YouTube channel. I know he's got a website at David Miscavige. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe it's a joke.
Well, Irina thinks that it sounds like the most fake channel ever, the DM one.
29 subscribers. Oh no, look at that. 29 subscribers even. No. Yeah. He's got it. Look at that.
Do you want to share it? We'll have a quick look.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me just. Yeah, okay. Let's look at this. Wow. This is definitely a new thing. Hold on 1 second. I want to see when this.
I apologize, people. This interview has gone off track, but this is worth having a look at. Yeah, this is
really off track, but we're gonna look at this anyway.
Absolutely.
So apparently this has existed since 2012, and he's got a whole 29 subscribers.
Oh,
but careful. They just started putting. Oh yeah, they just started putting videos on it. Okay, so they must have grabbed it like right away so that no one else would take it. You know what I mean? And then just not done anything with it.
Like they've grabbed website URLs
here, I'm gonna.
But goodness knows how many people just to make sure they've got them later on.
Here, I can share my screen here.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm thinking it'll probably do what it did last week, and it will come up at the bottom, and I need to add to the stage. There we go. So there we go. We have a David
subscribers. Oh my god!
Wow. Yeah, I think I need to get.
Look at this! Look at this. Judy sees the leadership of David Miscavige. Lizzie describes unforgettable moments with David Miscavige. That's Lizzie Caltrelli. I know her. Austin is motivated by David Miscavige. Craig was appreciated. I know this guy, Craig Jensen. Craig was appreciated by David Miscavige.
I think.
Oh my god.
Apparently, when Peter found it a couple of months ago, he only had 3 subscribers. So he's growing.
Okay, my goal is gonna. I'm gonna have to. My channel needs to be much bigger than David Miscavige's. Oh my god!
Well, the good news is you already are. You had 250 subscribers when I was on there the other day, and I've got 100 and something. So we're already bigger than David Miscavige. But I think that might be fun to get you, Chris, possibly Patty, and maybe a couple of others, and go through some of those videos and just rip them apart. That could be quite fun.
This is hilarious. Oh my god, I'm gonna check this out after. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there we go, people. David Miscavige does have a YouTube channel. Oh, dear me.
Oh dear.
I can see a Christmas laugh coming on with that one.
Oh my god.
Seeing as we're not that far away, we can do a Christmas special with that one. I'll get you, Chris, Patty, and a couple of others, and we'll have a go at that one.
Yeah. They're probably gonna buy it.
Talking about David Miscavige, while I remember talking about David Miscavige, and as I'm not going to be going live again before then, just a reminder: the IAS event in St. Hill on the 25th. Apostate Alex is organising a protest. If you are in the UK and you can go, please go and show Alex some support, and let's get that protest bigger than it was last year. I wish I could go, but because Scientology keep doing everything at short notice, I ain't got time to be over there by Friday. So if you can, please do, because I'm sure Mr. Miscavige will be there.
Oh yeah,
and Tom Cruise probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully nobody from East Grinstead Council this time after Alex last time.
Right? Yeah, I hope it goes really well for them.
That's a shame, Irina, but holidays are important, and I'd rather be in Italy than in the UK myself as well. So having gone off at a couple of tangents, so you went in, you became this doing all this paperwork. Why did you get busted to being a cook?
Oh, that was much later. Okay, so
was there another job between that and?
So, yeah, because I was in senior HCO, which is human resources, basically. I was in there from 1994 to 1998, and then I was in the Data Bureau from 1998 to 2005, and then trying to remember why exactly did they get rid of me from data. I think what it came down to is my immediate supervisor, senior, we just did not get along. We clashed all the time. She was just nuts. She would just start screaming at you. And she physically attacked me one time. And
like leader, like followers, I suppose.
Yeah, so I got 4.
From what I hear, Dave is the same. I'm just
you're breaking up a little bit. Maybe
that's better. It went funny then for a minute.
Oh yeah. Okay, good.
We're back again.
So
Irene Posner asking if HCO means the Hubbard Communication Office.
Yeah, I think she's saying that's what that means. Yeah, that is what that means. Yeah. So yeah, so I got COMEV, a committee of evidence, which is basically like a court martial. I got 4 of those while I was in data.
From what, just because you've had a COMEV, just to make sure, a COMEV is when you're put up for court martial, but you're already guilty before you arrive, is it?
Yeah, it's a kangaroo court. You don't get to have anyone, be witnesses for you or anything like that. And it's pretty much predetermined what's going to happen with you. They kind of go through the motions of like getting your evidence or asking you, go through each of your crimes and ask you if you're guilty or innocent, or if you think you're guilty or innocent. And then, but if they don't come up with the right answer, if they come up with something that somebody doesn't like, somebody senior doesn't like, and they're like, nope, do it again, or they're like, you need to fix this isn't correct, and they'll just, once you're like in the crosshairs, it's really hard to get out. And you can be like the most well-behaved, productive person, but once you're in someone's crosshairs, they'll try to find anything they possibly can on you to get you busted from your post.
And I've not heard anybody ask you this before, so I'm going to ask you: did you ever end up on the RPF, or did you just keep getting busted to different?
I went back to the EPF once. Actually, before I went to the kitchen, I went to the EPF, back to boot camp. And I was there for 6 months because I was just like, okay, fine, whatever, I don't care, just leave me alone. I don't want to go back. And nobody talked to me for like 6 months, like nobody from the building, because it was on a different base. and everybody just kind of ignored me for 6 months, and I was like, "Do-do-do," just like having fun running around with these new recruits and getting into all kinds of stuff, and I ended up like working in the mill and making furniture and doing like all this stuff that I love doing. It was really fun. And then all of a sudden somebody was like, "Oh, actually we need her back." And they just got me off and we're like, "Okay, you're going to do this now." So so and then they sent me to data or not to data to ended up going to the galley, to the kitchen. That's kind of how that happened.
I'm just watching Irina's comments because apparently, I'll bring it up. She had one and it was bad enough. Got sent out the country and then had to redo the EPF herself.
Yeah, that's what they do. They put people into estates who get in trouble or mess up in other areas of the organization. They put them into estates, and I liked being in states. I mean, I thought it was fun. I liked doing hands-on stuff. I liked it for a while until until it was just like just physical overwork. I didn't like that aspect of it. But as far as just being able to work and do a job and kind of be left alone, not constantly harassed by some senior telling you to get something done or whatever, I kind of liked it. So
as Irina's put it, EPF sucked, but at least you had enough sleep.
yeah, that's right.
So then you went to the galley and did everything that you did in the galley. Again, if you want the full story of Catherine's time in the galley, she did do an interview with Alex about it a few days ago, so we're not going to go too far into the galley. So from the galley, was that then where you went to Columbus when they wanted the Sea Org to run Columbus Org?
Yeah, and how I ended up there was how I personally ended up there was that so I was working in the kitchen for many years, and I basically ended up running the place along with another guy, and and the execs liked me because I used to make food for them, and I used to watch out for them and make sure that they got their meals and everything, and I made friends kind of in high places, and so they kind of liked me. So there was one who was working on sending people to Columbus, and he was just like, "Oh, I think she'd like to go," and so he put me on the list.
Cool.
And I did. I wanted to get out of. I really wanted to get out of LA, really bad.
From apart from people who live in LA and have been there a while, everybody I speak to who's been to LA for short periods of time say the same thing. I just wanted to get back out.
Yeah, it's. I think it's different being in the Sea Org though, because I think wherever I would have been, I would have wanted to leave, because if we are in the same square miles, the same few square miles of space for so many years, and it's not like you go and explore the city or anything or go and have any fun or like you don't get out. So I was just trapped. I felt like I was trapped in LA. So I didn't like it.
So I'm going to now go off at a tangent, and I do ask people who were in the Sea Org, especially those in LA, and I have asked Chris, but as well. When you were in, did you have any kind of interaction with David Miscavige, or?
I think I spoke to him like 3 times, total of 3 times when I was in there, because he wasn't at the HCB that often, and when he would just meet with certain people, and he wasn't really around talking to people. It's not like on the int base where it was like that's where his office was and he was constantly around doing stuff. He didn't really interact with the staff where I was very much. Once he came around and like met every single staff member and like shook their hand and stuff, and that was when I met him, and he's really short. He's extremely short. I was surprised. I was like, this guy's shorter than me. I'm like, okay.
The question
and that was it. Yeah. I have one too. I have one somewhere.
Is he taller?
Oh, I have mine. Mine is hanging Mine is hanging from this string on my shelf. It's hanging by his
Yeah, mine's normally hugging the leg of my desk. I also have the Mike bobblehead as well.
Yeah. So this elf is definitely taller than him. Yeah, the elf is definitely taller.
I feel like I've joined the ranks of the anti-Scientology YouTube channels now, because I can remember when these first came out, they were, every time another anti-Scientology YouTube channel came out, they were sent a Mike bobblehead, and now I feel like I'm part of the anti-Scientology community because I got sent a Mike bobblehead, paid for by Dr. X.
Yeah,
so I feel like I'm part of it now.
Too. I've got a Xenu costume for mine. It's pretty cool.
I know I haven't got the Xenu costume, but I'm currently, because obviously living in France, I'm currently looking for one of those old Action Man berries that I can stick on Mike's head whenever we go out and he looks French.
Oh, that's funny. What is it? What is it? A hat or something? What is it?
It's a little beret, because the French traditionally wear berets and onions around their neck. So I'm looking for one to stick on his head every time I take him out.
That would be easy to find, actually. You just need a little doll beret.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. I'm gonna find one for you. I'm gonna find one
because I think that'd be quite funny in photographs. So okay, so you didn't have much interaction with
no, I met him a couple times and that was it. Yeah.
But did you, if not Miscavige, because obviously LA is one of the bigger orgs, everybody knows the Big Blue, so did you have much interaction with many execs from the higher?
I actually, funny enough, through the years, I think I met a lot of the execs, a lot of RTC. I knew a lot of RTC staff. I knew a lot of like senior execs that worked with Miscavige. I knew almost all of them. It's just he's like the one that I almost never interacted with. I interacted with everybody else.
Well, I suppose I suppose a bit like when LRH went to ground, David Miscavige is going to stay where he feels safe.
Yeah,
Clearwater or Gold Base.
Yeah, I mean he's not at the Gold Base anymore, but yeah, that's true. I mean, now he hangs out. Now he's at S&P most of the time. Scientology Media Productions. He's there.
Yeah,
he's an office there, and that's where he is. And he meets a lot with management staff. He'll either come over to the HGB Hollywood Guarantee Building, or everyone will go to S&P. Like they'll do these big meetings with everyone, and yeah, like I say, I interacted with quite a few execs, like commanding officer of the CMO, a lot of the people at RTC who worked with him. There's still a few remnants of a few people from INT who still do stuff with him. Not very much, but because almost all of them got busted, went to the hole and never came out. But yeah, quite a few people. And there's Ty Webb. I used to have to make food for him, actually. Oh, I hated that guy. Anyway, yeah, it was funny. It was like almost a lot of the Scientology executives, the Zurich execs I was around could be really nice people. And I had a different interaction with them because I was just making food. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they were trying to get me to do something.
You were somebody that they were better off being friendly with, because
yeah, exactly.
You were the one feeding them.
Exactly. And they acted more like a little bit more like people around me. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I talking about leadership, I do want to go back to something that you said during your chat with Mrs. J, that you think Marty Rathbun's ex-wife is going to be the next leader.
I think it's possible. She works in RTC. She works pretty closely with Miscavige. She was last working on a lot of the compilations, which just means that like putting together new materials and things like that. She was working a lot on that and some other projects and stuff while I was like before I left from there. She was working a lot on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And she was
I just found that really interesting when you brought it up, because you were the first person who brought her up as a potential future leader of anybody that I've spoken to. Who's
well, it's not really known. The thing is that a lot of the so almost everyone who's come out of the Sea Org, out of that, in management level or middle management or anywhere in the Sea Org where you kind of know what's going on. A lot of people came out a long time ago. Like the Headleys came out in, wow, you lost your head. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. The Headleys left in 2005. I think Mike left in 2007 or something. Yeah, I think he left in 2007. And they don't necessarily know who's doing what now. And she's one of the people that's become a little bit more prominent as far as being involved in quite a bit. If it's kind of hard to explain, but she's.
I mean, I'm please don't think I'm saying disrespecting what you're saying, and you are one of the latest to have escaped and were in Scientology in the Sea Org, so probably have a better idea of who's around now compared to some of the others that I've spoken to.
I think there's a few people who would possibly replace him, who are at middle management right now. But then I think about the aspect of like who's going to deal with the attorneys type thing, because that's probably the biggest part of it. That's a huge part of it. And I don't know, like I can't speak to that at all because I wasn't around anybody who was involved in that really, except a few people from RTC. But then it's not like I would go to a staff meeting and we brief on like what's happening legally with Scientology.
I mean,
any idea.
For me personally, I mean, we are playing Guess the Next Leader, but it could end up being the same as what happened after LRH died, and David Miscavige just came out of nowhere. He wasn't expected to take over, and he did. So we could end up with somebody else like that just coming up on the outside and taking over.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody we've never heard of.
It's like Irina says, who will be the next Pat Broker versus who will be the next David Miscavige? Because apparently Pat Broker was the one who Hubbard turned over to.
That's what I mean.
Because did you know that we never heard that name? I was in the Sea Org for 27 years. I never ever heard that name.
Broker.
Yeah. Never.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me, because for Miscavige, Pat Broker would have still been a threat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the information that Pat Broker had could have brought the whole thing down.
Yeah. That's right.
It doesn't surprise me at all. So again, I'm going to go on to other questions that I ask everybody that I interview who's ex-Scientology. What do you think of the protests? Because I'll give you my opinion. I appreciate them because we need to be doing that sort of thing, but I can't see the point of walking up to a Scientologist and shouting in their face when one of the things that a Scientologist is taught in one of the early stages is bull baiting.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I think that protesting is a good thing to do. It's fine to do. It's covered in the Constitution. It's a basic right to protest. You can protest, but there's a difference between protesting and harassing.
Yeah,
and a lot of what this has turned into is harassment of Scientologists, of Sea Org members. And all I can say is that didn't help get me out. It wouldn't have helped to get me out. And if you really want to get people out, that's not what you do. And if you want to protest, it's fine. You can protest Scientology. but you're not helping the people that are in there by being nasty and abusive and just harassing. And that's not, to me, that's not protesting. Protesting is what Alex did last year at the IS event.
Absolutely.
That's protesting.
And what he's planning to do this year, that to me is protesting. And there is an interview on here that I did under our old guys when we were still PTS with Jeff. Can't remember his surname off the top of my head. Who was one of the original protesters? Who was around with
it's probably Jeff Hawkins, right?
Yes, Jeff Hawkins. That was it. And he was around with Anonymous and the peaceful protests, and he was saying, no, you don't want to be doing it the way it's being done, because it's. But I mean, yes, I've got nothing against people putting it on YouTube, showing that this stuff's being taken, but don't do it for clicks and views, because that's what I feel a lot of it is. It's that they're deliberately making it as antagonistic as it is to get more views.
And also just telling people, yelling at people that they're in a cult, that's never going to get them to realize that they're in a cult, ever. It's going to get them even more entrenched in there and even more fearing, the outside world, if you just yell at them. So
absolutely.
Not into
absolutely. And what we're trying to do is show them that what LRH was telling people about the outside world was wrong.
That's right.
But for me, what they're doing is showing the people in Scientology LRH was right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion. Whether people agree with me or not is another matter entirely. But that's my opinion. Is that it's very much a case of, look at us. We're just going to have a go at you. We're not here to help you. And people aren't going to put up with that. They don't want that. They want help.
Yeah, exactly.
And that brings me back on to, if there is anybody who is in Scientology or knows anybody who is in Scientology who wants help getting out, please contact the Aftermath Foundation. They will help you escape. Katherine is helps with the Aftermath, and Katherine was helped by the Aftermath, so they will help.
Yeah, and if you want to connect with and contact individual people, like if there's somebody specific that somebody wants to talk to, it's very easy to contact any one of us or anyone in the ex-Scientology community who you might know and you want to talk to. We can definitely connect you up with whoever you want.
My email address is in my contacts. You can contact me. I'm quite happy to help. Part of my job is helping people who have escaped cults. I'm a qualified therapist, and I sit and talk things through with them and try and help them get the other side. So drop me an email. I can help. Just to correct myself on the ex-protester, it was Jeff Jacobson, not Jeff Hawkins. Jeff Jacobson.
Yeah.
Got my names mixed up. Jeff Hawkins is somebody I keep meaning to reach out to and I haven't got round to yet. That's why I got confused.
Jeff Hawkins is great.
Yeah, Jeff Jacobson. I did an interview with about the original protest that we all know about with Anonymous, and compared to what the protest phenomenon we are seeing now.
Yeah, that's great.
So I did an interview with him. So that's on the channel, because I haven't got rid of the old interviews, even though it was under a different name. We are keeping them there. So
Should we answer some questions?
That brings us on to some questions. So I've got one here from Peter Anderson. He did say for the end, some survivors have shared experiences with people being emigrated to the US on R1 visas. Do you believe this is a common occurrence?
Definitely, yeah. That's the kind of when they get staff from out of the country, that's the kind of visa they come in on, as a religious workers visa. And if they're going to stay in the U.S., they work on getting them green cards. And there's someone in OSA who works on nothing but staff immigration and visas, green cards. Someone working on it full time, all the time.
Because I've heard from quite a few people that a lot of the people in like the Sea Org in the States now haven't got American accents.
Yeah. A lot of people lose their accents. Some people don't. I mean, I knew a French person who was a French lady who was in the US for, I don't know, 20 years or something, 15 years, and she still sounded completely French.
Well, yeah, and I'm an example. I've lived in France 5 years this week, and I haven't got a French accent. So it depends on different people.
Yeah.
So got some Irene's comment about Marty's ex-wife being the next leader. Her being the next leader, yeah, maybe for like 2 months before the Sharks do her in. I can't imagine she would survive.
I don't know. I don't know if this person knows her. I know Anne, so I don't know.
If anybody's got any questions, please pop them in the chat. At the moment, I'm just showing some comments because I've done the one question I had. Have you seen Mitch Brisker's chapter 10 at about 23:05 to 24:12, where he names the head of OSA?
The head of OSA is Linda Hamill. I knew her. I know everyone. If I can name every single OSA staff member if you want me to. I don't know what good that's going to do, but no, I can name them all.
And another comment: anybody see The Wedding Singer and what the kid says to Robbie's former bride on the porch?
I don't think I saw that.
I've seen it, but I don't remember what he said.
I don't know. You'd have to tell us.
Yeah, you're going to have to tell us, Peter, because I can't remember what it was. This is an interesting thought from Irina again. There is no rule saying Miscavige has to be replaced by one guy. I actually suspect there will be a coalition of several people.
I was kind of thinking that. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that because there'd have to be there's like a core of people at middle management now that are handling int management functions, and they're the ones that make the decisions about this or that in management, and how the orgs are going to be managed. I don't know how else to explain it, but and so yeah, maybe it would be some sort of committee or whatever to replace
Irene then called it a watchdog committee 2.0 of sorts.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's in his 60s. He's got a long way to go, and he's got, they get him. He gets the best food. He gets the best, I'm sure he gets the best medical care, whatever he needs. Mm-hmm. He's going to be around for a while yet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's just interesting to speculate.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say,
we say he gets the best medical care. We say he gets he gets the best food, but this is a man that's been smoking since he was about 12.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's still time for someone else to come on the scene and kind of become the next one or whatever. And I have kind of the idea that maybe I don't know if he's training somebody up or trying to train somebody up. I doubt it. I don't know.
No, he doesn't strike me as the sort of man who would be trying to train somebody else up, because he strikes me with the way that he keeps clearing out management that he fears somebody cooing and taking over.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So I would very much doubt he's training anybody up. I could be wrong. I don't know the man, but just from the impression I've got from what other people have said, it would surprise me.
Yeah.
It would shock me very, very, very much if he was training somebody up to take over. Okay. So any other questions?
Anyone? There's only like 3 people here.
According to mine, we got 6 watching at the moment.
We have 6. Oh, that's good. Everybody should check out David Miscavige's channel.
We will be. We'll talk about that. We will talk about that. I'll talk to Chris as well and a couple of others, and we'll get a group together and we'll just have a laugh with David Miscavige's channel.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're out of questions.
We are. We're out of questions, then we're out of time.
Well, yeah. So thank you to
discussing things like this. It's really interesting. Getting different perspectives.
Absolutely, I love it. Bok Buddy, Alex is on my list. But with the planning for the IAS event and some other stuff that's been going on in the background, it's an interview that's on hold at the moment. But watch this space because hopefully we will get something organized.
Great.
I have approached him, but he's got so much else on at the moment. He just doesn't have the time.
Yeah, it's probably going to be after the protests.
Yeah,
after he sleeps.
Hopefully after the IAS event. There are some other interviews coming because I'm not just going to be at the moment. Everything on the channel is based around Scientology, but it's not just going to be around Scientology. I've got a video, a pre-recorded one lined up with Mrs. J about evangelical Christianity. I've got another one coming. I've got a series with Chris Shelton coming out that isn't going to be on Scientology. It's on coercive control because that's Chris's area of expertise. I've also got an interview with Michelle coming out on the MLM and the similarities to a cult when you're in an MLM. So there's going to be a lot of content coming out. We are still in early days of planning the direction of the channel. We do have a Discord that people are welcome to join. I'll get the link. And there are various other people that I'm reaching out to. So there's going to be a lot of various different content coming out. Scientology is still one of those that I'm going to be diving into deeply and talking to people like Alex. I've also spoken to Claire Headley and Mark, but Claire wants to get her book, her first draft done of her book before she does anything. So hopefully we'll get something lined up with that as well. So that there is a lot going on. It's just people are busy. We are at that time of year where people are gearing up for other things and for Christmas and stuff like that. So there will be plenty of content coming. Hopefully I'll have Katherine back at some point and we'll be talking about other things, especially if we do the David Miscavige channel breakdown. I'll get her and Chris on that one.
Yeah,
that was fun. And Katherine's welcome back anytime she wants. It's been an interesting conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially tonight, because we've gone off in areas that I didn't even think about.
Yeah, we found David Miscavige's channel.
Yeah, so we've gone off in areas that I didn't think about, and that's what I'm trying to do with this channel. Is I want to make it fun. I want to show current Scientologists that life outside Scientology is fun. Let's have a laugh. Let's have a giggle, and let's bring an end. As we said last week when we were talking, let's bring an end to the drama. Yeah, the drama's not helping anybody.
Agreed.
So let's all try and work together. And this is the one of the very few times I'm actually going to mention them on this channel because of what's happened before. If there is anybody from SPTV who happens to see this and wants to come on and have a chat in good faith without any fighting on either side, I'm more than happy for you to come on. Just drop me an email and we'll sort something out.
Great. Alrighty.
So thank you for joining me again, Catherine. It's been a very fun interview. I've really enjoyed it. And we will have a chat behind the scenes about setting something else up.
Great.
If anybody, because I know a lot of the people that are popping up are in your chat rather than mine. So if people do want to join the Breaking the Chains Discord, I have put a link in the chat on my channel, which will still be there in the chat replay. So please feel free to come and join us. Katherine is in there as well. We are there. Not a lot going on at the moment because a lot of it, I'm doing a lot of research at the moment, but we will get a bit livelier.
I put the link in mine too, so people can see.
Thank you, Katherine.
Welcome.
So please feel free to join the Discord if you want to. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening, and let's go out there and let's carry on breaking these chains. Please like, subscribe, share. Let's get these stories out there. And have a great time, guys.
Great. Bye.